Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what irritates you the most? Slow walkers who stop randomly. People who chew super loud, turning it into a full-on sound experience that no one asked for. I hear you. People be peopling. People chewing with their mouths open. People being rude to service workers. People who can't be bothered to spell correctly. They're the worst. Opening parenthesis ... Sorry, oh my god, I totally agree, my sincerest apologies. People who talk during movies. What about people that snore, asking for a friend? Actually had that once. Guy next to me fell asleep watching The Dark Tower and snore. I also had to commit the mortal sin of talking during the movie to explain things to my wife, as they didn't do much world building for the newcomers. Spoilers below. Not defending the movie, because I also thought it was bad, but many people had the misconception that it was an adaptation of the novels. It wasn't, it was a sequel to them. Till didn't save it though. Less than 2 days ago I shushed 4 times in the cinema, and I've never done that before. A couple let their kid shout and moan and talk and wander around the entire show and did nothing about it. The staff were no help either, and it ruined the whole movie. I just can't imagine having that level of disregard, unawareness of others. People who stop in doorways. I was behind a family walking into Costco and they all stopped right inside the door. I started to try to get around them and was obviously peeved, and the guy said, sarcastically, "Oh, it looks like someone has someplace to be." Quote, "Yeah, MF, some of us actually do want to be somewhere other than the store sometimes, imagine that." People with no common sense. People who refuse to listen and then confidently argue a point you never even made. Slow cars camping in the left lane. Drop your pride and move aside, please. I was once behind a car on the far left lane going 60 miles per hour, and instead of speeding up or changing lanes, he signaled everyone behind him to change lanes and go around him. 8 a.m. weekday. Learned helplessness or strategic ignorance. You must work where I do. Every day I have so many people messaging me as if I am a preschool teacher and everyone is a toddler. And a colleague said that our team is seen as the easy button. Example, we need to onboard a vendor and it hasn't been completed yet when it was to be done in 72 hours. After investigating further, the issue is that John sent a form to a vendor and it's been over 40 days and no response. John and others like him have zero self-management abilities. They want us to just push through things for them at the snap of the finger. And management is on their side, as my team is there to just be the easy button. I've had people openly say to just do it, as we ignore protocol for obtaining legal documents to onboard a supplier. I am not getting fired over a legal issue because someone said, just do it. I have that little to no trust for coworkers. Being ignored by somebody I care about. Donald Trump. Conspiracy theorists. Met a cute lawyer girl recently. Was absolutely horrified when she began going on and on about everyone around her being out to get her, and a lot of female public figures being transsexuals. That first one doesn't sound like a conspiracy theory. It sounds like a mental illness. Sounds like you dodged a bullet there. He can change her. When the weather is too hot. Myself, when I let others affect my mood. The human race, this includes myself sometimes. People who don't listen but still argue. Being interrupted mid-sentence, sorry, and then never getting in another word because the person who interrupted you won't stop talking, or when they take a pause that lasts so long you think they were done, and when you start talking again they get angry and said, "I wasn't finished, don't interrupt me." I had a friend like that for a while, and when I returned the favor to them I all of a sudden became the rudest person to them. Clean, coal, don't shit in my cornflakes, you lying lizard scum. Or the clearly pro-oil propaganda show, Landman. Yes, I get that oil is a big part of modern life, more than just the gas in my car is made from petroleum. However, there are other options that we don't even dare to try because of the grip that the oil industry has on the world. Your resource is only so direly needed because you made it that way. We could have easily been transitioning things to greener sources and the big companies could have still been profiting, but no, that'd be woke. The rest of the world is doing it and we're being left behind. Even China is going green with their energy, they're killing it with EVs, and we're over here sucking on exhaust pipes. So many idiots out there, they think solar and green energy is just a money-making scheme, as they simp for big oil spreading their idiotic propaganda meant to do exactly that. So what if it was, it'll improve the planet? No, we can't have EVs because mining the batteries is bad. But apparently drilling, fracking, processing, transporting and burning fossil fuels is a-okay. How exactly does that work? I guess we're just going to keep polluting and setting the planet on fire until the oil runs out, and then what? No, EVs and greener energy aren't perfect. We can't plug cars into trees, but we can fund solar, hydro, nuclear, etc. and lessen the impact greatly. I've never seen a green energy or EV supporter claim they're perfect or deny their flaws the ways that the opposition does with fossil fuels. It's like if something doesn't instantly and completely fix the problem, then it's just not worth doing. What kind of mentality is that? Unskippable ads on a video I didn't even click. Like, why am I getting punished for breathing? Unskippable intros to video games. I'm not gonna have a goddamn seizure. I don't care about the 10 different companies involved. I am not going to rip the PC plug out of the wall as the game is saving. Who fucking does that? And why do I have to press any key? Just get to the motherfucking menu. People who don't move with any sense of urgency. Any noise that triggers my misophonia, probably people that trigger this. Misophonia too. Such a curse to live with this condition. Disappointed. I used to live on a noisy road, with undisciplined children living in the apartment above me. It was absolute hell. Yeah, definitely takes its toll regularly on some of the basic relationship activities. Skeptical smiley face. Stress, cortisol, and especially caffeine are also big catalysts which make it even worse. Eating noises, high-pitched kitchen noises are the worst for me. You have the same with caffeine. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures. And the Dutch. Cold coffee. How do you know it's cold? Do you stick your nose in it? Maybe they take a sip. That would be common sense. No. Scammers. People, corporations and politicians who game the system. Being in a two-laner and having two slowpokes driving side by side with no way to get through. Terrible drivers that cause congestion and wrecks. People who stop at the top of an escalator. Move, you idiots, we're all being thrust into you. Also, people who don't make way for others getting out of an elevator, off a train and just barge in. Everything is always someone else's fault, the system, their parents, their boss, society, timing, never their own choices. I get that life isn't fair, but at some point you have to admit you played a role in where you ended up. Close second is fake urgency. People who act like everything is an emergency, stress everyone around them, and then magically disappear when it's time to actually fix the problem. And finally, people who don't listen not because they're busy, but because they're just waiting for their turn to talk. Conversations feel pointless when you realize they already decided what they think before you even finish a sentence. People. Humans. Donald Trump and MAGA. Mismatched things and incompatibility. People on Reddit. People who swallow fluids super loud. Like, I know you can do it normally, why are you arguing that it is how I normally swallow? Exclamation mark. People who turn any argument into it is their fault, like, I guess everything I say is wrong. People who talk over you and then say, sorry, go on, after completely killing the moment. Small, closed-minded people who assume, judge, and act like others are inferior just because they're different. Some never take the time to actually see someone or understand them. Everyone's so quick to label and go with society's wrong, preconceived notions. Every one of us is on their own unique journey through life. There is no set way to be. Less than, greater than. Being in a long aisle of a store with only one other person in that aisle, but that person is standing right in front of the item you need to grab. Or blocking the entire aisle so you can't get around them. People, in general, especially when they operate motor vehicles. This is the answer I was looking for. Full score. People who litter. Family on Boxing Day. They were okay yesterday and the day before that. Now I'm just desperate for solitude. Listen, I work in childcare and I absolutely adore children and understand how they act and their behavior. But the one thing that annoys me about family when they come over are the ones who let their child run around screaming and then saying, they are just a child, but when a dog barks they jump straight to, chuck it in the garden, or telling the dog to shut up. I understand children will scream and yes, it is a normal thing for children to do. Of course I understand they don't know right from wrong. But dogs bark, dogs also run around, and that's normal behavior for a dog, so it annoys me when they shout at the dog. Or when the child goes and sits in the dog bed or snatching the dog toys and wondering why the dog keeps coming over. And then everyone gets angry at the dog. How about the child doesn't sit in the dog bed? People who take up the aisle in grocery stores. You don't need to bring your family tree to Walmart. Expressionless. People coughing and sneezing without covering their mouths. Haven't we learned anything from the pandemic? People chewing loudly and then action like the world should ignore it. Me, my life. I have a goal but I do something which is not related to my goal. It irritates me a lot. And the crunching sound of someone eating irritates me. People who always talk about themselves. Answering stupid questions on Reddit. People who talk shit about others for their actions when nobody knows what battles they are facing, what conditions or disabilities they have. Lack of communication from bosses at work. People. Being around people because I associated with having to perform. My relatives who give me all kinds of advice without any charges, folded hands. A scrape. Selfishness. That's why I hate Christmas, it's the worst time of the whole damn year for me. I hate the greed at every corner, the blatant ignorance, and nobody gives true thanks from the heart. Liars. People who don't close the doors after leaving the room. People who constantly interrupt others. It drives me absolutely insane, even more so when they acknowledge it, but treat it as just a thing they do. No, stop interrupting constantly. People that change or cancel plans last minute. People who are rude for no reason. Entitled beings. These bozos feels like they run the place, which is not. People. Asthma flares. Pouting. The ones that wanna make you go through misery just because they did too. Also people lying to your face.